So let's talk about what UPS has just done. UPS originally gave their workers a buyout offer. It was $1,800 per year, but you had to be paid more than $10,000, meaning you had to be with UPS for at least 6 years or longer in order to accept this buyout offer. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Well, according to reports just this week, UPS has actually extended the buyout offer, meaning it didn't expire on July 31st. Instead, it's actually August 14th. Now, the reason for this is actually pretty interesting. They say they got a lot of interest, but there's a lot of skepticism. A lot of people are wondering whether or not they would really get the money, the $1,800 per year, meaning somebody that worked there for like 27 years. And according to reports, 85% of UPS's workforce are in the top end, meaning they've been there for 25 plus years. Somebody that's been there for 27 years, which according to reports is pretty average, well, they would actually get $48,000. A $48,000 check would come to them immediately. That is insane. Now, here's the interesting part. According to reports, UPS is trying to get rid of some employees. They have too many employees, and well, being that Amazon has pretty much taken away a lot of their business, they are trying to find a way to actually stabilize, to restructure a little bit and to find their footing. Well, here's what we know. UPS is going to lay off employees. They're going to let go of many employees if they don't accept this buyout offer. Some people from the union are saying, well, this is just a scare tactic trying to get people to accept the $1,800 per year buyout when they know good and well that they are worth much more than that. But UPS has stated that if they have more eliminated positions than they do people that accept the buyout, well, they're going to have to let people go. Or if they have too many people accept the offer and not enough positions eliminated, what they may do is actually grant the buyout offer based on seniority. Now, I'm bringing this to your attention because I've been reading a lot of stories. I've been getting a lot of messages from people over the past few days, and a lot of people are concerned. What does this mean? Well, what this means is it's not just UPS. UPS is starting it, but the thing is, other companies are going to do this. We know it's going to happen. We've seen this with many companies before. The United States government did this. They offered people buyouts where you can accept it, where you can do a delayed resignation, okay, which your resignation wouldn't be until September 30th. But in the meantime, you'd still get paid. You wouldn't have to come into work, but you'd still get paid. You'd still get full benefits. Everything you're owed would still be coming to you, but yet you don't have to come into work. And we learned that hundreds of thousands of people accepted that. And guess what? It worked. That's the scary thing, is it worked. And now the federal government doesn't have all these employees that are really didn't care to come into work, but we are still on the hook to pay them. That's essentially what UPS is saying. Well, if it worked for the federal government, maybe that's something we need to do as well. So again, I just want you to understand this is a slippery slope that we're on right now, but the key here is who follows. We know the U.S. government did it. We know UPS has done it. Other companies have done it more privately. UPS is a big company, and that's why it's very public. But we are expecting more bigger companies are going to do this exact same thing. And as they do, I promise I'm going to bring you all the latest news and updates. But here's the last thing I want to leave you with. I don't know what this looks like. All we know right now is that the United States is in uncharted territory. We don't know what the tariff situation is going to look like. We know the stock market's just surging. Things are at all-time highs. But yet there's a lot of question marks regarding tariffs, regarding inflation, regarding our interest rates, and whether or not the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is still going to have a job in the next week or two. A lot of question marks. We know that President Trump is supposed to meet with the Russian President Vladimir Putin later on this week. We know there's been an invitation, according to the White House, for the Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky, and whether or not he goes to Alaska and meets with the two of them or not, I don't know. But what I can tell you is there's a lot of question marks. So the people that are being offered this, and this is exactly what the union presidents are saying, it's a tempting offer because there's so much skepticism as of right now as to whether or not they're going to have a job in the next 1 week, 1 month, or even 3 months. So for somebody to come in and say, hey, you've been here for 27 years working for UPS, and we really honor you, and we're glad you've been here, and you're so devoted to our company. We're going to give you $1,800 a year that you've been here. And so if you've been here 27 years, we're going to give you $47,000. We're going to cut you a check. How's that sound? And if you're a little bit concerned about your job and whether or not it's going to be there for the next 3 months, 6 months, honestly, I would take a check of $48,000 if I'm only making $8,000 to $10,000 a month. That means if my job isn't there in the next 2 to 3 months, I come out ahead. So we'll see what happens, but I wanted to share this because I know a lot of people are wondering, what does this mean? Honestly, nobody knows.